Let's do it. All right. Well, I'm here with the infamous James Yeager and the famous James Yeager because look, I looked at IMDb. What are the letters anyway?
Internet Movie Database.
You know, it's actually right here. I just lied. It's IMDb. I got it, but hey. So I looked you up, and you are famous, man. More famous than I even realized. I
Well,
mean,
then I'm famous, am I? If you don't realize I'm famous, like if I got to tell you I'm famous, I'm not really famous.
that could be, but it could just be that I'm slow on the uptake.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, maybe I've been under a rock someplace. But anyway, I want to get into that down the road if we can, because there are things that I knew recent, but I didn't know about some of the stuff back in the day. Can we? So you've been in this entertainment scene for a minute now. Um, so if you wouldn't mind, James, would you kind of do the shameless just plug about what tactical response is and just why y'all are the best thing since sliced bread and all that jazz?
I don't. I don't really do that. I mean, basically, what tactical response is we teach good people how to kill bad people, and that while it's simple, there's several layers to that. Like first off, I use the word kill. Like people, I don't use the word neutralize or any of those things. We're talking about taking a human life. There's no need in dancing around it.
Mm-hmm.
And you pay attention to how many other instructors, and I'm not shit talking to anybody,
Sure.
don't use the word kill.
Right.
Uh, and that's what we're talking about. And certainly we don't want to kill anybody, but if they won't leave us alone and they force us, then we do. But good guys and bad guys, that's the line. That's the line of demarcation. I teach good people to kill bad people. And I don't care if you're a civilian, police, military, I don't care. That's what I do. And it's important that people don't really get what I mean. Now you do, but I don't teach shooting. People say I'm a shooting instructor. I'm not. I'm a gunfighting instructor. And it's yeah. There's some similarities, but it's largely different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. Case in point, I just looked it up. I took your class right over a year ago, right over a year ago, and people don't think about it this way, but I can tell you just my own personal experience. I've lost about 45 pounds since then, and
Nice.
I can direct, and I'm not, I can directly relate that to, what, I'm out here as a young adult man thinking about shooting and recognizing, hey, there are things that are slowing down my mind that shouldn't be. I'm not focused on the right things because there are other, there are just too many factors in mind. So it's been a different year for me. I mean, that's not just tactical response, but it definitely had a component in that whole mix, that started me thinking about, hey, I need to calibrate some things in my life as I'm moving into this next season. So that's one indicator, but that's not shooting. That's not, what I do at the range has changed, but there are a lot of other factors other than my range time that have shifted since the class. So,
Very cool.
there we go. Here's my big excuse because I haven't been back. Do I need an excuse?
Hey, at least you've been once.
I've been once. I'm coming back.
But you
I'm
at
coming
least
back.
you no, and I want you to, but like at least you've been once.
I appreciate that.
And well, what I mean by that is there are a whole bunch of people that say someday, one day, I'm going to,
Yeah, yeah.
And that could be in your world like someday, one day I'm going to get saved, or whatever the case may be. People say things like that about, well,
Sure.
one day I'm going to climb Mount Everest, or someday I'm going to do this other thing, and you're one of the people that didn't. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
did it.
sure. Yeah, yeah, that's fine. But here's my excuse.
Don't yeah, that's fine me.
Yes, sir.
No, I'm
I
saying it's a
appreciate it.
big deal. Like,
Yeah.
no, it's a big deal. How many people watching this right now for years, maybe decades, have said, one of these days, I'm going to go take a class
Yeah,
and
yeah.
haven't?
No, that's true. I appreciate what you're saying, and we need to have more people, good people, doing that, and doing it more frequently for sure. I had a shoulder injury this year, so here's my violin, and it wasn't a big deal. I don't even know what I did other than yard work, and something got tweaked, and I started to try to pull back my bow, and hey, this is not normal, and got some, I guess, some bad advice to give it a rest for several months. And then when I went to from the doctor, but then when I went to the orthopedic doctor several months later, it was way, way, way worse. So I was losing weight, but I had stopped the gym stuff that I was doing in other than cardio. And so I lost about 6 months, honestly, in some of the process this year. Not, you can still shoot and you can still do those kind of things, but this year's been interesting. But it's been a good year. And now that I know, hey, I'm not going to hurt it, I got cleared to. Everything's going right back into place. I should have just kind of gone with that to begin with. So enough about me. But I am coming back. This year's been a little bit interesting in a lot of ways. But I'm coming back as soon as I can. So here are my questions, and I want to kind of do it this way, if we can. Mindset, tactics, skill, gear. Right? Is that the hierarchy that you teach? Am I
Gear at the bottom? Yep.
Right. Okay. Mindset, tactics, skill, gear. So if we can kind of reverse that, and front load, because some people care about the gear side. And last couple times,
let's start at the bottom and work our way up. I'm not reversing.
No. Yeah. Not reversing your teaching, but reverse the order. Okay. So Surefire Tactician is one of, I think, many products that you've had a part in the development of. Is that true?
You could say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Would you mind telling me about what your role with this, but also other things that people might not know about? Like what is your role in the development of products look like?
So, let's just talk about Surefire.
Okay.
So when I got started into this police work and this tactical stuff in the early 90s, the Surefire, the company, was still called Laser Products.
Okay.
And you want to talk about gear? I can tell you about gear.
Yeah, man,
okay?
Let's do it.
So, John Matthews owned a company called Laser Products, and he made lasers for SEALs, MP5s. And they said, "Hey, man, can you make us a little bitty flashlight?" He said, "I am a scientist. I do not make flashlights." And they said, "Please, make us a little bitty flashlight." So he came out with the 6P. Now, before that, guys were like literally getting radiator hose clamps and hose clamping a big bag light to their MP5s.
No joke.
What else? Yeah. What else was there? And so overnight, that little and a full size mag light is like 25 lumens, but a little 6P was 60 lumens. Now, by today's standards, nobody would even look at a 60 lumen light. But back then, a little bitty light that was that powerful, it changed the entire face of what was tactical. So 6P, simple light, 2 batteries in the bulb, on, off. There was no clicky.
Yeah.
Okay. The foundational light for Surefire. They'd made all these other lights, and somewhere along the way, they got lost.
Did they stumble into that process, or were all those factors super intentional, like the no click, all that stuff?
All those factors for the SEALs were super intentional.
Okay.
Because you could twist it on, just like the Tactician. It was a separate. There's no way. And so when the clicky tail cap world started, people thought they wanted that. They're just untrained, because people that don't have training like you, like, they think, well, I just won't push it down all the way. But in a fight, you lose tactile sensation, click, and it doesn't want to be on and stuff like that. So Surefire had gotten away from making a gunfighting light. They made all these lights, and I want to say that the Surefire Scout light's fantastic and stuff like that, but they'd gotten away from like a personal defense light.
Okay.
And so it was a hole. I had an in at Surefire through Andy Stanford, and I know the owner, John Matthews. And I said, "Listen, I need you to build this light." And at first there was some like, "Well, we don't know if we're going to build this light." I said, "If you don't build it, I'm going to have to go somewhere else." And Andy told the owner he's going to get this light done. Where's he going to get? Is it going to say Surefire on it or not? So they made the Tactician according to my specifications, and it's been, from what I gather from Surefire, from the people I know at Surefire, it's the most popular light that they've made in a decade.
That's great. So you're just, and that's super valuable to them. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't get a royalty off of them. So I didn't help with that light to put money in my pocket. I wanted to help with that light because I wanted one.
I get that. You should probably work on that though. Like you should get a royalty. No, you don't care. You're just like, hey, these are good people. I want them to have this light. here's the data from the field.
If I got a royalty, that means your light would cost more, $1, $5 more, $10 more. And that was the whole thing. Is I said it had to be under $150. I wanted it under $100.
Yeah.
But I'm realistic, and so there's things about it, like the lanyard, like the lanyard loop that cost extra. Now, what I wanted was called the gas pedal switch. That's when you push it and it comes on half, and then you push it harder and it's on all the way. That's what I would have wanted, but that would have been about a $25 upcharge. So I'm like, nope. And so all through this design, like I wanted a thicker clip. So this is the thickest clip that Surefire has ever put on a light, ever in the company. Well, I wanted that special, and it was important enough for me to raise the price of the light a few bucks. And so all of those things, like it was a give or take all the way down the light, still keeping it under $150.
Hey, where do you carry yours?
In my back left pocket.
And it doesn't turn on when you sit on it?
No.
Okay. Man, my butt must be too big.
Listen, people that want bezel down carry have never had any low light training.
No, I'm not questioning that, and I haven't had but
I don't mean you either. I'm just saying that people all the time, why isn't it bezel down? I'm like, you've never had any low light training.
No, I every once in a while I get what I call hot butt. Yeah, and I think everybody does. But I mean, I'm happy with the light. I'm just maybe my pants are too tight or something.
So on that lanyard that got at the back, I've got a piece of shot cord.
Yeah.
So what you do with that? Look at me.
Yeah.
Around the back of your hand.
Yeah.
Over the light.
Right.
So now I can reload my gun.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Like this.
Yeah, but the shot cord.
Shot cord is better.
It's a step up. Okay. And I got a place for everybody to get shot cord. Everybody wears like windbreakers and stuff, and they have that toggle and that elastic band.
Sure.
That's going to get caught in the holster. So go ahead and pull that out and cut it off and put it on your flashlight.
Word. Yeah. In fact, I just got one of those, so that I'll do it. Okay, so any other items that people wouldn't know that you had a hand in developing back in the day, or?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you a couple of things that just stories that you might find interesting.
Yeah.
So in like 98 or 99, I can't remember the year, but somewhere back in there, this guy named Marty took a rifle class from me. Him and another dude named Ashley. And they were two of the students in this rifle class. And I had just gotten a Knights Armament RAS M4 rail. It was the first rail that you could put on a gun. And you took the plastic handguards off, and they snapped into that spot.
Okay.
And Marty said, "Where did you get that?" And I said, "Well, a special forces buddy of mine stole it for me, and here it is." And he says, "Can I buy one of these?" And I said, "I don't know." Like they were brand new, like they'd never been seen before. And he said, "Well, I'll call them up." Well, he called Knights Armament, and apparently they literally said "fuck you" to him, and I mean,
really?
Quote, "fuck you." So he started making his own rails. And then he started making his own rifles. Now, when I met Marty, he was hanging garage doors for a living. He was in construction, and his business was hanging garage doors. And if I were Paul Harvey, I would say, and his last name was Daniel. His last name was Daniel, Marty Daniel the Fence.
What?
Now you know the rest of the story.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I've got one. I got one of those upstairs. That's that's really cool.
So if you ever meet Marty Daniel, say, "Hey man, I was hanging out with Yeager and he told me about the garage days."
Yeah. I'll remember that. That's cool. That's a great story, man. I feel like I'd just sit here by the fire and listen to a whole bunch of those. But any other?
I have a ton, but I have a few.
Yeah. That's cool. So let's see here. You've commented, I've heard you comment in your videos about guys that write reviews and do all this kind of stuff. Content creators often don't know what they're talking about, right? And that's
Yep.
true. So I like to look at things on the kind of positive side of that. How can you help make us better?
Well,
go ahead.
The first thing is, this isn't new. This happened with gun writers back when we used to write on dead trees and put them in magazines and stuff.
Right.
So this is not a new phenomenon, because you have to understand the dude that's intelligent and articulate enough to write or create content isn't always the dude that's like, that
He's
that
often not. Often not.
right. So in that respect, I'm kind of an anomaly because I can write. I've written a book. I've written 100 articles, but I can do this stuff. So I'm an anomaly.
Yeah.
In some respects.
Yeah, absolutely.
And but so what I do, for what I've told content creators, if you are what YouTube, for instance, calls a content creator, that means you have 10,000 subscribers. Come take Fighting Pistol for free, and that'll do a couple of things. Number one, I'll help you video your class, and so you'll have a great video of you taking the class and da 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 da. But forevermore, you will have now this base of knowledge in which you can make a more discerning or more realistic review of a piece of gear or a gun or whatever the case may be, because you understand how it's supposed to be used, not just how to use it, how it's supposed to be used, what it was designed for, and what the ultimate thing could be is actual gunfight.
Yeah. So training, I knew, would be part of the answer. Is there any chance we could do like a little show and tell kind of thing? Like you could say, I would care about this if I just gave you some examples of stuff that people have sent me and you said, that's what matters about an optic. That's what matters about.
You can start asking and I'll start answering.
Okay. So we'll just do this real fast.
Let me before you start. Yeah. Before you start.
Yes, sir.
So primary things is, can you afford it?
Yeah.
And that's what's so hard about gear. That's why, I do gear stuff all the time. And I tell people, hey, if you're coming to class and you want to shoot this thing or you want to look at this thing, let me know, because this stuff is so expensive.
It is. It's crazy expensive.
If you could test drive it here at my place, you would either know, yeah, good investment, or, man, I'm glad I shot Yeagers because that thing did not work for me. So that's another thing. Like if you're a content creator, like Brian, if you wanted to come down here and you wanted to stay an extra day, open up my gun safe. Think of how many gun reviews you could do here.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Tons of
how much content you could create in one day here. And I offer that. And I offer that to all content creators.
Yeah, like that would be dope. So I will take you up on that someday if you mean that. That'd be amazing. James Yeager's safe.
I think you just said that I might not mean what I say.
No, I didn't mean that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I might not have fully thought out what I just said. Here we go. So so this is stuff. By the way, I agree. Take training, but random stuff comes, and I'm like, yeah, I'll take a look at it. You know how that goes, right? So probably way more than I know how that goes. So CRK, Columbia River Knife Company, says, hey, we got a backpack hatchet. What do you want to know about a hatchet? You care?
Yeah, I mean, I like stuff like that, and by the way, Columbia River has never contacted me. So hey, Columbia River, no, it's good. But first off, they call it a backpack hatchet, so that kind of means it's a little bitty hatchet, right. Something small.
Pack, yeah.
But what's the price range, and where does it fit in the world? And what I mean by that is other little axes, other little backpack axes. Where does it fall in as far as quality and price?
Yeah. Sure.
And then like your personal, like at the end of an article or a review is like, hey, this thing is great. I don't know if I'd ever put it in my backpack, but it's a great little hatchet.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
How like what I'm saying is I try to talk about how I think the world would use this.
Yeah.
And then I usually end with how I would use it.
For sure. Absolutely. So you want to know that the person that that's talking to you is being as unbiased as possible, and you want to know what the value equation is when it comes to something like that.
If you look at the basic journalistic outline, who, what, when, why, and where.
Yep.
That should be the basis for every review ever made.
Absolutely. Okay, so Spider Co says, "Hey, we've got knives for skin and deer," which I know you're not, but
it's never sent me anything.
So, so a knife comes along and you say, "Well, I would send you this knife, but you said don't send you any Christmas presents."
So here's the thing. like if Spyderco contacted me and said, "Hey, we got this deer skinning knife," in general, I would not accept that because
Okay.
I'm not a deer hunter. Now, a little caveat to that is I'm planning another trip to Africa where I plan on shooting some stuff, so I might. But in general, I don't review stuff that I don't use.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
And
and I say deer skinning. There are a lot of reasons why you would have that
okay,
knife. Yeah, that's my reason, but it's maybe not everybody's. But maybe something like the Pical then from Spyderco. Would you be interested in?
yeah,
Uh,
absolutely, it's even kind of stuff.
yeah. Okay. Cool.
So I got a little Spyderco story if you want to hear it.
Yeah, I'd love it.
I don't know anybody there, but it was, and don't get me exact on the date, but like 1989 or 90, right in there. I walk into a knife shop in this little place that I'm staying, their little town, and there's a knife shop, and I walk in and I see my first Spyderco, the police model.
Yeah.
Like, you got to understand, that was the first knife that you could open with one hand. Like,
Okay.
there was no stud, there was no wave. Spyderco was the first, and before that, it was the Buck 110 folder, and had to come with a leather pouch like the Duke boys used to wear. So before the Spyderco, it was the Buck 110 was the tactical knife because it was a folding knife, but it was good and sturdy. So when I saw that first Spyderco, I was like, "Ah, the world has changed." So for me, like the early '90s, the Spyderco, the Surefire, it was just like a renaissance period of technology and all this stuff. But I bought that first Spyderco. I still have that first Spyderco, and what a wonderful knife.
Well, that's awesome. So, yeah, and you need to. So here's some things. XS did not send these, but I'm doing a lever gun project. But they've got like rails for Marlin kind of rifles.
I can introduce you to those guys. That's not a problem.
Well, I appreciate that, but
You know I know them.
I know you know them. That's not the point. Just full disclosure, Roy at Brownells did send them. So I mean, I'm very thankful. So
Tell Roy to send me some shit. No, I'm just kidding.
so anyway, absolutely. So yeah, and if you want to know the people at Spyderco, Joyce is the right contact there. So, but there's a company that's making optics. They've been making optics, but now they're making some geared towards hunters, and they have a line that came out called Stirka, I think. I don't know how you pronounce it. So I'm sending this stuff back, but it's like a I'm just checking it out. So this just showed up on my birthday, like a spotting scope and a red dot and a 10x15 rifle scope and some stuff. When it comes to optics in general, what do you care about? Like, what are you paying attention to say, hey, I think this is worth my attention?
Well, let's talk about the spotting scope right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so for my crew, they're usually thinking about like a sniper scope or a long range scope.
Right.
And so three things need to match: the turrets, the reticle in the scope, and the reticle in the spotting scope.
Okay.
Like a spotting scope that doesn't have some reference in it is basically worthless.
Sure.
So when I say match, like if the knobs are MOA, then the reticle should be MOA and the spotting scope should be MOA. Right. Or if it's mills,
not mixing mill and MOA. I get it. Yeah.
So for anybody that's looking at optics, that is what that is the thing I would tell them. The guiding light to not buying stuff and making a mistake early on is to make sure all three of those things match. And right now it's the easiest to do with mills.
Okay. So is that I've got a match set, or you say, man, pick and stick, just everything you get should be in that same format?
Ideally, but for a long range setup, those three things need to match. But ideally, yeah, everything you have should be in one or the other.
I get you. Well, and if you're starting fresh, that's probably attainable.
Right. Well, but even if you're not starting fresh, to keep you from throwing good money after bad, like just find a path and start writing yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Like ammunition, Black Hill. What do you care about when it comes to ammunition?
Black Hills makes great stuff. I care about a lot of things. Like the basis for all of it is for all gear is there an American made option that's good?
Yeah.
You know, and so that's what I go with. So Black Hills, obviously made there in Sturgis, South Dakota. That's about as America as you get.
Cool.
I've shot their ammo. That was the first match ammo I ever bought in the 90s. The moly coated 168 grain 308 was the first match stuff I ever bought in my life, and I found it to be good ammo. But with all ammo, does it have, first off, not reloaded? I don't care who reloaded it. No reloads. All factory new, factory fresh ammo in any of my guns. Okay. And that's just how I feel about it.
Is that you personally have no interest in reloading your for yourself also?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
Cool.
And
not that you have time, but yeah.
The amount of people, the amount of shooters that actually need to reload is probably less than 1%.
Right.
Most people do it as a hobby, and I get it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Most people that reload don't need to.
Those are mostly competition shooters or real long range guys. Is that right? Yeah.
And again, even in the shooting community, they make up less than 1% of it.
Oh yeah. Fair enough. By the way, I wouldn't have known about these if it wasn't for your channel. But I love these sights from Night Vision. Did
Jacob hook you up with those, or somebody?
I didn't. Somebody else, but yeah, they were. They're. I've got them on this guy, and it's.
I couldn't see what that was.
It's a Smith & Wesson MP
okay.
2.0.
You're wearing a black shirt, they all look black.
Yeah. I am aware. Yeah, and look, it's even got these cool like thumb things. So, but
you're like a cat.
Yeah, actually, this is a company that makes hunting clothes. So, and this is merino wool, and it's cool. Yeah, I end up wearing it's just a base layer, but I end up wearing it a lot. I like it. I'm in my pajamas, James.
Rock it.
And I've got too much stuff around me. We'll just stop with show and tell. That's enough of that.
No, dude, I don't mind it. And you can edit out whatever you don't want to have.
Okay. Well, I already know what you think about holsters, and this one doesn't have a loop on it. So I kind of, I've listened to you. I don't want you, but this is from, what is this from? Mission First Tactical. Otherwise, other than it being a clip, it seems like it's very cost effective.
But if you want a clip, ulti clip. If you want to carry, the only clip that I will give my blessing on is ulti clip. Hey, and you should like ulti clip, the Cross and ulti clip.
Yeah.
Do you know those guys?
Yeah, I do. I don't know those guys, but I know the product. And
listen. No, stop. Yeah. Seriously, you like those guys. They do mission work in Guatemala, and all the money that they make off ulti goes into the church, into the mission project and stuff like that. And they're good human beings. They're good people. I need to shoot me an email. I need to introduce you to those guys.
Yeah, I would love to meet them, especially with that in mind. That's really cool. Yeah, I will shoot you an email for sure. Thank you. A company that is owned by the group that owns Plano, they were sending me boxes, but then they sent me some. I don't think you are interested in archery, are you?
No.
But see here, this is cool. This is where you see the blood on. So this is cool, Jay. How about light holders? This is Viking Tactics. You like this? You like this kind of light mount? Can you see it?
It's to work fine. Viking Tactics is Kyle Lamb's outfit, and the slings and the light mounts. I think that's all part of his program, and more to them. But we have Kyle's slings and mounts and other things come through class, and none's ever fallen off. They all seem to work just fine.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. I think really honestly, there's a bunch of junk. I mean, not junk, the good stuff, but a bunch of stuff we can talk about. We can talk about that forever. And
on this end of my table, there is a mound of gear.
Yeah, what you got on your end? What's cool,
dude? What do you want to see? I mean, I got this 586.
Oh, see. Oh, hey, I wrote an article about the 340 recently,
Yeah,
which is a little J-frame, and
yeah, no,
and you didn't comment in reference to this, but you commented right after that like backup guns, those kind of things. You're like, why are you using revolvers? But in your class, you said the second gun is free, right?
yep.
Okay, so second gun is free. If I just like it, it's all right. Like
Dude, it's just
I got a shield and stuff, but if I just like a J frame, is it okay? Like if it's a second gun,
here's the thing. Yes, you can. Here's the thing. This
please,
is a joke.
daddy.
No, listen, please. So this is a joke I've told before. I say, like, if you carry a 9mm and you need a backup gun, you should probably carry a 44 Magnum because things have gotten worse.
Yeah, that's true.
And
So
so you're along that line. As long as you're carrying full house 357 Magnum loads in it, you kind of like slip in under the wire, like you are carrying a more powerful backup gun, and that's kind of cool.
yeah, I probably am not though. I'm probably carrying 38 plus, 38 plus P. So just to be honest,
Oh bueno.
yeah, yeah. Except for when, never mind. Yeah, you got a point. You got me. So, um, yeah, but it's cool. I've always liked revolvers.
I got revolvers everywhere. I did some videos with
V,
4 revolvers today.
VZ doesn't make pretty grips for the shield. I can't. I can't make the Instagram pictures. No. Uh, okay, so moving on. So kind of going in that reverse order, and some of this stuff doesn't really fit in skill, but I'm just trying to use framework. So if I recall correctly, I'm not using your words. Words I'm going to paraphrase, but you don't believe in an arrival mindset. People should be continuing to develop. They're continuing to hone themselves. Is that true? Like
I don't mean when you say arrival mindset. I don't know.
So I think you said it something like, whatever you learn, you got to keep paying payments on to maintain something. Like you don't get there and like, okay, this is the final destination. I've got nothing left to learn.
Sorry. Yeah, that like when I tell people like taking fighting pistol is the beginning of something, not the end of something.
Right.
And just on that class, you have to practice those things after you leave class enough to ingrain them. It's like making payments on a car, making enough payments and you own it. Same thing with these skills. But it's also for a lot of people the first steps on a path. And you defined that earlier when you said it's changed things. I've lost weight. I've done this. I've done that. And that is exactly what I'm talking about. It is either somebody's walking the path and this is one of their stops, or they take the class and then the path opens in front of them, like it did at least partially for you.
Yeah, and I'm sure that it'll continue to. I know you continue to train widely. I see videos of you going all around the country, and you continue that personal self-development. What areas are you personally developing? Maybe it has to do with shooting. Maybe it has to do with something else.
Well, since you asked, revolvers is something that I believe is a lost art,
Okay.
or art that the light is fading on. And so I plan on this year is for me the quote unquote the year of the revolver. I'm going to learn as much as I can about these things, so I can teach my grandkids, and maybe hopefully they never have to use one, but if they do, they'll be able to use it with confidence. And so for me, everything's kind of geared toward what do I need to leave my grandchildren.
You literally read my mind. On this next question, it says, you've raised a family and are now working to instill your values in your grandchildren. What are those values that you're most concerned with teaching your loved ones?
The golden rule, and the 10 Commandments. It's also Confucius's rules and the samurai rules. They're all really the same thing. Be a good person. Don't lie. Don't steal. Help those weaker than you. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. No matter what language or religion you look at, that's the foundation for any good citizen.
Sure. Anything that particularly has to do with outdoor world or shooting or any of those things, like you just said, I'm going to pass down, are certain skills you want them to have, or if you've got a grandkid that says, hey, I don't really care about that, you cool with that?
Well, like I have got two daughters.
Right.
One of them by the time she was 18 easily shot 50,000 rounds, and the other one didn't shoot 500.
Yeah.
I never forced it. I've got 5 grandkids. The odds are 3 of them probably won't like it. I'll probably have 2, and I can't even pick which 2 it's going to be.
Yeah.
I got 2 that'll probably run me into the poorhouse buying them ammo. But I've never forced it. Now, on my daughter that didn't like to shoot, imagine teaching a young person how to use a fire extinguisher. Pull this thing, squirt this thing. That's what I taught her about firearms, and I made sure that she understood that pull this thing, squirt that thing. Sure. I made sure that she at least had that.
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, and education in general is all about interest, right? You can only take somebody as far as you can try to make somebody interested in something, but if they don't care, you're wasting your time.
I learned with my daughters that my want for them to be interested has nothing to do with their actual interest.
Well, that'll preach right there. So let's jump into filmography if we can. So IMDb shows you were involved in Nat Geo's Explorer way back in 2007. There's a thank you to Iraq Guns for Hire, Snipers Inc. in 2011, One Man Army in 2011, Daylight's End in 2016, Cherokee Creek in 2018. Just in general, stories about the entertainment industry, things that in that world. What's interesting to you?
The crew, the people that run the lights and sound and all that are fucking awesome people.
Yeah.
They're awesome people.
Yeah.
Most every headshed, most every upper echelon, medium to upper echelon in the entertainment industry is a liberal douchebag.
Yeah.
But the crew, whenever I was on these shows and stuff, I always hung out with the crews. They're always good people, gun owners and stuff like that, but they can't talk about them. So when I start talking about them, they're kind of uncomfortable. Then they realize, this guy's not going to tell on me, So
the conversation on the set is really controlled PC kind of stuff then, huh?
Yeah.
Huh.
Because most of the people are coming out of LA, even if they are not from LA, they've been Californicated, and and they have that mindset.
I think the guy from X-Files is in a show called something like that. I haven't seen it, but what California?
Fox Mulder.
Yeah. I love the X-Files. Laura and I, when we were dating, we watched that all the time when we were kids.
Reruns of it.
No, we watched it when it was coming out. Sure.
Really?
My birthday, I'm 38.
Huh. Okay. I thought it would have been okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah. When graduated high school in '99, so right then when they were coming out, that's exactly when it was all happening. So kind of thinking about tactics, not real tactics, but just follow the train of thought. One should gun culture. What should gun culture be doing proactively to protect and advance freedom?
Training, because training provides realism and a sense of a realistic point of view about firearms. And it continues the way of life about firearms, and then if the need ever arose to protect community or self or nation, then they would be ready for that. And the gun culture is my definition of the gun community are a bunch of politically correct bootlickers that are worried about making the left mad instead of standing up for their God-given rights.
Right.
And so the gun culture, I say, is the unapologetic freedom lovers that do not kowtow to the left.
With that in mind, what's up with all the shill talk? Has the gun world always been so keen on eating its own?
Yeah, that's the gun community.
The gun world has it always been?
Not the gun culture. The gun culture doesn't.
I didn't conflate the two. End of thought. Okay. I asked gun culture. gun community have this gun world. Has there always been so much of this, like, man, we just want to like step on somebody to get somewhere kind of stuff?
Listen, again, yellow journalism, dog bites man, no story. Man bites dog, story. And so see, I don't do exposés. Like I don't shoot guns till they blow up, and I don't get a gun and go, this is a piece of junk. Look, never buy this piece of junk. Like I don't do that, And what's different about me than most YouTubers is think about this. This year, 2018, I had just over 5,700 people that came here and looked me in my eyes.
Yeah.
What other YouTuber has that kind of accountability? If I say buy widget X,
yeah, and
they buy widget X and they come to my class, if it doesn't work, where are they at? They're right here.
Almost only other trainers. I mean, that's all. And most of them are not as active, so I can't think of anybody that's in the gun culture that would have the same dynamic that you're talking about. But yeah, I think it's a valid point. And there.
My point is, if I'm such a liar, why here they come to my class, sticking a camera in my face and go, why did you tell me to buy widget X?
But not just you, the talk is broad, right? It's in general. And it seems to be mostly YouTube world, but like, has there always been that much? I mean, we've got real people to fight. Like
the reason it's YouTube is because on Instagram and Facebook, they put content and you can figure out who they are. On YouTube, they never post a video, so they can post behind a name, and they can unleash all this stuff. That's why those same people don't. I got thousands of people banned on YouTube. I got a few people banned on Facebook because they won't come and use their real name.
Yeah.
To talk crap.
Yeah. No, that's fair, and that's a valid. That's spot on. Speaking of YouTube, Facebook, and other social media outlets, they've been functionally censoring rhetoric. And I know you've talked a lot about this, but what's your perspective on that whole dynamic? Didn't you just get knocked off of Facebook again for some ridiculous reason?
Yeah, from a 4-year-old post. Basically, they, like YouTube, wants to claim public utility status for tax evasion, to evade paying taxes, but then they want to censor people.
Yeah.
And they say, and they're not really censoring. They just write these ambiguous rules. Like if you look at their rules, and I'm sure you have, on like violent content, kicking a dodgeball could potentially be violent content.
Yeah.
And so when they look
subjective.
Right. And so when they look at mine, anything I do is violent. And then they look at somebody else and they can do anything and it's not violent.
Yeah, I remember that dynamic in high school and junior high and all the way back to elementary school. There's the kid in the class that no matter what, he can get away with murder. And then if the teacher's got their eye on you, buddy, you can't do anything, right? Right. And once you become a target, that's the way it is. But anyway, there's not really, though, a lot of alternative space to get content seen at the same.
Well, here's the reality of it. Google is the world's largest search engine. YouTube is the world's second largest search engine. About 9 billion searches a day on YouTube. So if you want to get found, that's how you get found.
That's it.
That goes for TV, where these people that are calling me about movies and all that stuff, that's where they find people.
That's right. Right. And I don't think people anyway. So thoughts on silencers being removed from the tax stamp world? Any chance at all of that happening?
Chance? Yeah. There's a chance.
Tactics that would facilitate that?
Here's the thing. For 2 years, Republicans held the House and held both houses in Congress. Held both. And didn't get through the Hearing Protection Act and didn't get through National Concealed Carry.
That's it.
And they controlled it. So I'm just as mad at them as I am the Democrats.
Amen.
For 2 years, couldn't get the wall funded and all that stuff. So sorry, back to your question.
And by silencers, I don't just mean that, but any stuff that we, more freedom when it comes to this.
Well, first off, there's no reason to get an SBR anymore because you can get the SB braces. So really, there's no use to get an SBR. So the only thing that's really left are machine guns and silencers. Silencer shouldn't even be on there. I mean, anyway.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, if imagine if there was a law that said that you had to
mufflers.
Yeah, you had to take the muffler off your car. It's just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But
it's just being nice. You'd think they would make us use it.
Being polite.
Yeah.
and they talk about it's against the fair chase law, for hunting. They don't understand that the bullets are supersonic anyway. The deer doesn't hear the bullet that kills him, even if there's not a silencer on.
It's a bunch of crazy rhetoric from people that don't understand what they're even talking about. Yeah. All right. It seems like, though, that I think we talked about this once before, but it seems like there ought to be some way specifically when it comes to silencers for the states to do something similar to what they've done with marijuana.
Oh, they can.
I mean,
they can.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, there are...
If it's manufactured there
are people that think that... And although it might be legal, it doesn't mean you won't get arrested for it. That if the manufacturer a machine gun or a silencer, as long as you keep it in that state, it's fine.
I mean, it makes sense.
I'm not going to be the guy that tests that out. But
right.
I know that there's some legal schmeagle talk about it, but that's not my arena. So
me neither. It just I mean, it's above my pay grade, but it seems like it makes some kind of logic, like some kind of sense.
Have you read Unintended Consequences?
No, sir. I've seen the post. Okay. It's on my to-do list.
When you send me the email, I bought 10 copies to loan out to my friends. I'll call you a friend. But so when you send me that email, send me your address and I'll mail you a copy to borrow and read.
Okay. Thank you. I mean, they're hard to find, somebody said, huh?
They're back in print now, but yeah, they'll print a batch and then they sell out. And then they're out of print for a while, and the prices start going up, and then they print another batch, and
yeah, cool. Thank you.
Listen, it's banned from being imported into Canada, so you got to read it now.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm really interested in hearing your perspective concerning the world. So maybe this is mindset, maybe it's philosophy. It's probably not mindset, what you really mean, but loosely using your format here. In your view, is humanity progressing, regressing, or something else? Basically, when it comes to are optimist or pessimist when it comes to humanity?
Well, let's be scientists.
Yeah.
Let's be sociologists. If we look at every civilization that came before us in history, there's a thing I think you're probably familiar with called the Tytler cycle. Are you familiar with that?
Probably.
Anyway,
not.
It's a cycle. It's a cycle that every civilization has gone through ever since the beginning of time. Mm-hmm. And so we're like at the final stage where, basically gluttony, like we're decadent,
mm-hmm. Sure.
So the United States of America is the only civilization, i.e. government structure,
mm-hmm.
that has ever made it past 10 generations.
Okay.
It's like the world looks at us like we're the youngest country. We're the oldest country, the longest country that has ever existed in time. When people talk about the shot heard around the world, it wasn't because that gun was loud. It sparked overthrows in France and all over Europe, going from monarchies to some kind of other republic or, other thing. And so, like, France is a younger country than us.
Right.
England is a younger country than us. Germany is a younger country than us.
How so?
because they have had a change in.
I see.
If you
you're
if
talking
you
about
understand,
right. I'm tracking with you. So they've changed their fundamental. Yeah.
country is different than a continent.
Sure.
A continent is a piece of dirt.
Sure, I get it.
So if you grabbed a country of America and put us on another piece of dirt, we're still America. We're just on a different piece of dirt. Well, what makes a government a government, a country a country, is it's governmental. It's government.
Right.
And so we have the oldest government, i.e., the oldest society that has ever existed.
And by that you mean that it hasn't changed in a fundamental way like England has, or
in over 10 generations.
Okay, it's interesting.
So look up. You can Google it right now and look up an image for Tytler cycle, and you can see all the different stages. And if you look, I can't remember what each stage is called, but we are in the last stage.
Yeah.
And so that's me being a little bit of a historian, a little bit of a sociologist, and a little bit of a realist. So if you look at those words of each, starts out with slavery, and if you look through that, you look through
the last one is dependence. Is that the one you're?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it goes apathy, dependence, then starting over with bondage, right?
So we're at least apathetic. And what do the liberals want us to do? Cradle to grave. They want us to be dependent on them. So we're at apathy. It's debatable which one of those we're in, but I think that if we understand that 48% of the United States doesn't pay taxes, that means that they're not pulling their own weight. In 3% more, we are now dependent on the government.
So optimist, pessimist, you're saying it's about to start over?
It's not optimist, pessimist. Like if we look at Rome, if we look at any of these other civilizations, this is like history repeats itself.
Mm-hmm.
Before us, no country made it past 10 generations. Yeah. And here we are, past 10 generations, just barely, but we're in the final stages.
Okay.
So this is not optimism or pessimism. Mm-hmm. I believe it's realism based on history and sociology.
Sure. And this is specific because I was kind of talking humanity, but now you're in specifically the U.S. So that was the next question. So I'm gonna skip that if that's cool. But piggybacking on it, and it's totally fine that we're talking U.S. If you were kind of given like a State of the Union address with this in mind, what would a James Yeager State of the Union look like, just generally?
Y'all motherfuckers need some Jesus in your life.
Okay. And just get real, basically. Understand where you're really at.
Yes. The farther a society gets away from some type of divine guidelines,
mm-hmm.
the Bible, the Ten Commandments, and I'm not saying that everybody, and I don't care if it's Buddhism, I don't care what people do, but the farther people get away from that and thinking that there's any kind of energy in the universe, the worse the civilization becomes, because there's no recourse. There's no penalty to pay at the end.
Yeah. So with those things in mind, are there any recent events that you find remarkable enough to comment on? Any things that you've noticed in the news cycle, or anything that you're like, I can't believe I'm seeing this?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't know.
I'm not trying to get us way into politics or whatever. I'm just I'm interested in your perspective, and I think anything that comes up, seeing it from your point of view is probably helpful from understanding your philosophy, your mindset kind of perspective.
I mean, if you ask me a pointed, a specific question, I'd be glad to answer it. But I'm trying to think of something recently.
Yeah. I can do specifics. I just I don't want to assume what I'm interested in is what you're interested in. That's okay.
Ask me something, man.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's asked you this one, so we'll just say bump stocks. What do you think?
I think
This is red meat to them. I don't. I've
I,
already
I
heard
think
it.
I think two things. I think they're stupid, and the government should not have banned them.
Yeah. Okay. Um.
I think it's important for me to say I think they're stupid because I didn't say I think they're stupid. I don't care. I don't care if they get banned.
Mm-hmm. I know. I tracked with what you said. I got
Okay,
you.
I want everybody listening tracks with what I said.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
I think it's stupid, and you have a right to have it.
Yeah. Stuff with people coming in, like maybe coming into the country, like there was a big hoodoo. It's been a while back. You know, the news cycle, like people forget stuff so quickly, but there was a big hoodoo about pictures of kids and all this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Listen, if you are coming in illegally, that means you are a criminal, and you should be treated like a criminal.
Okay. All right. So you're known for your hospitality, yet from time to time an incident shows up on the YouTube feed of some guest kind of taking for granted your hospitality when it comes to the team room or whatever. You know, most of the time that's the exception to the rule, I hope.
Yeah,
yeah. But in general, do you think good people that are hospitable, they're given to that kind of being a hospitable person, do you think they should expect to be taken advantage of sometimes? Do you think that's part of? Yeah.
I mean, I have to believe that not everybody was raised by competent parents.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. You know the trash bags that have the drawstrings you pull?
Yeah.
So when you pull those out, what do you do after you pull them?
I take it directly to the trash can, tie it up, and go.
You tie it up.
Yeah.
Well, see, like guys, I think they've never taken the trash out before, but they'll take the trash out and then set it outside, and then the bag comes back open.
What? No.
Okay, there's like stuff like that. Like I think they've never taken trash out before because they didn't tie the bag off.
Really?
Like who takes any trash bag out, even if it doesn't have drawstrings on it, and doesn't?
Yeah, you tie the bag by itself, even if
Like it's stuff like that makes me go, why wouldn't somebody tie a trash bag shut?
So then when you go out to your trash, there's just all kinds of mess everywhere.
Well, I had to, over the years, I've had to adapt the way I've done things. So now when people stay in the team room, they take the bag of trash to the shop, put it in the dumpster.
Wow. Huh. Yeah. Do you foresee continuing to have people in your home?
I've been doing it for 13 years now. Like the team room.
And you probably told me this, but what started that?
So we bought the house. We had two girls, and it was a big house to begin with.
Yeah.
When our girls moved out, we have this big house. It's 4,000 square feet, and we were used to living. The house before that was like 1,200 square feet, and four of us in it.
Yeah.
Now we're in 4,000 square feet with two people in it, and it felt kind of decadent. And so what started it was we were doing the first contractor class like in 2005, June of 2005. And guys were like, hey, man, is there anywhere I can put up a tent? And I'm like, man, you can crash in my basement because it was empty. It was finished, but it was empty. Right. I said, you can crash in my basement. There's a shower and a toilet down there, nothing fancy, right. Carpet. And so the whole team stayed down there, and I noticed they gelled real fast as a group, that they were really close really fast. And the class was better off because of it. And so I asked my wife, I said, hey, do you care if we let people stay in the house? She said, as long as they don't tear up my house.
Yeah.
Well, they have, but like at first it had carpet all downstairs. That got ruined quick.
Sure.
So there's tile down there.
Yeah.
Every one of those tiles was paid for by somebody that had stayed there in the past or wanted to stay there in the future.
Good.
So every time a project comes up, like rebuilding the bathrooms, every time a project comes up and I put past the hat, so to speak, using your word, past the hat, that it always is paid for easily.
Listen, in my world, we automate. just reoccurring payments, brother. No, no.
Good idea.
You pass the hat, they might not show up. No, no, yeah, no. That so I'm glad to hear that. So people are contributing to keeping it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
good. And by and large, good dudes are coming through. Like, there's a reason why you call Tactical Response alumni family and stuff. I mean, you find that the students that come to you they're just good people, salt of the earth kind of people.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
What in the world today elicits excitement or hope in James Yeager? So, like, what do you look at and you're like, man, I am stoked about this. I'm excited about it.
I'm trying to look at some pivotal thing.
I don't know. Be. I mean, it could be like, hey, I can't wait to get on my motorcycle, or I can't, whatever. Like, what are you excited about?
Like, I'm excited about my grandkids and my motorcycle. Of course, my wife and my other kids. I call my daughters GDVs now, grandkid delivery vehicles. But
I think my parents probably feel the same.
But I just last night. Hey, when did I go to the movies? Last night.
Yep.
So just like last night, just kind of a win. The boys' night out. I took my two oldest grandsons and we went to see Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah, I'm a big Spider-Man fan. So were they.
Was it good?
So we just boys' night out. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah.
That's cool. So
it sucked though. But
what's that?
Man sucks, but I don't know.
I haven't seen it, so it may be. What's the difference between being aware of potential threats and living in fear?
Well, it's the feeling of helplessness. That's the difference. The feeling of helplessness, and the feeling of helplessness creates anxiety, and a lot of people misplace anxiety for fear. Like, if you're at home alone and you're afraid, that's called anxiety.
Right.
If you hear somebody kicking in your door, that's fear.
Sure. Yeah.
And so personal responsibility, and so basically, if a person is prepared and they are competent, then they are confident. That reduces their amount of anxiety and or fear if something happens.
Forgive me that I had kicked out the cord. I wasn't unplugged, and we were about to go dead. So, okay, which means we've been talking probably. I've overstayed my welcome. If we've used up a battery, we've talked a long time. So I appreciate that time. I really, really do. It's always good to get a chance to talk to you. I'll kind of end with this, if it's okay. You are kind of an ambassador for Camden. I don't know if you realize that, but like, you just posted on Facebook a picture of a house. Somebody needs to move here. I feel that way about Charlotte. I know that like I'm always saying, hey, y'all come. We need people in the city that, are good people. Y'all don't run away from this. It's we're not California yet, but if y'all don't hang out, anyway, that kind of thing. Camden, Tennessee. Why is it such an epic place to live? Like, how many people have moved here because of you?
Several, but it's not for everybody. It's just a little bitty town, man. And like the house that I posted up, it's $44,000 and you could move into it today. Yeah, it's a fixer upper, but it's $44,000 and you can move into it today.
Where in the country can you do that? There are places, but there aren't a whole lot of places.
Where can you do that you'd want to live?
Right, that's the point.
You can do that in Detroit.
You can do it for cheaper than that in Detroit, but
for $44,000. But like we got good schools, and all that. We don't have a state income tax. I mean, there are reasons why Tennessee, and there are reasons why Camden.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
But in general, I post up when I see that thing, because if you think about it like this, we have groups of guys that come and train, like 6 or 8 or 10 of them at a time that are friends. I mean, you think about it, you get like a dozen buddies to throw in $1,000 or you Airbnb the house when you're not using it, and
you have your own team room.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool. And like you made a post about going down to the local restaurant and them knowing you versus them knowing the hunters and that kind of thing. That local, that's just not true in a lot of places. You know, you could go into a place 100 times and it's just different.
Well, we got guys that come here to train pretty regular, and they'll walk in, and the waitresses will remember them and what they like if they drink coffee and stuff in the morning.
Yeah.
And guys are like, man, I in my own town they don't know me.
Yeah. The point, I call it the saturation point in a community, right? Like it is way easier to go someplace and know everybody at Walmart or whatever in that kind of town. What's the population of Camden, roughly?
About 5,000.
Yeah, that's a super cool place. So what's this year look like for tactical response?
Man, we've got classes. Our first classes of the year start this weekend on the 5th, and they're out there. I mean, just like 5,700 people this year. That's down from 6,200 the year before. We don't know where this year is going to wind up, but we still know that we have thousands of people to train.
Yeah. What's the ideal place for you? Like what would you like to train in 2019? How many people? What's that magic number?
I don't think there is. I would like, I mean, if I had wishes, it would just be like some kind of schedule where I could give my guys a schedule. Like all the classes were Monday through Friday, and I could tell my guys they have weekends off.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. If you had your druthers, right?
Yeah, it's all over the place, and that's it's kind of the world I live in, and I'm used to it, But no, things look bright for 2019, and
yeah,
here we go.
Yeah, I mean, do you have any desire to be 10,000 people a year? Or no, like you feel like back when, yeah.
No, even and I told I've done several year-end videos over the years, and I've said it before. I think that 5,000 is probably the sweet spot, because I don't want people coming through and feeling like a number. And I don't know what that is, but right now people aren't saying that.
Yeah.
So I think we're doing okay. But I don't ever want somebody to feel like cattle.
Yeah.
And I look at my friends like Clint Smith, who had the big place in Texas and trained tons of people, had tons of instructors. And now he's just got a little place in Oregon, and it's pretty much him and Heidi, and he has guys help him, but like it's very personal.
Yeah.
And so I see that for me in the coming years is to shrink this all down to a boutique,
to something sustainable, like something that you can do until you're
not even sustainable, something personal.
Personal. Okay.
Because there was a time when I taught every person that trained with us.
Yeah, I mean sustainable for you, but yeah, personal is a better way of saying that. Like where boutique is specialized. Yeah, I get it. That's cool. Do you think you can do it until you're 80 if health?
I doubt it. I mean, like John Farnham is 72, and last year he said, James, if I start slipping, you got to tell me. And I'm like, okay. He said, like, if I tell the same joke in the morning and in the afternoon, like you gotta let me know. And I'm like, what if I laugh both times?
What if it's funny all the time? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I told him, I said, I'll let you know if you're slipping.
How old are you now?
I am 47.
Okay, so you're super young. Yeah, you got a long way to go for sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, well, cool. Thank you so much for your time. I know I shouldn't, but I just don't know my schedule yet. Do I have some hope of being able to get a class in 2019, or is it going to be totally full if I delay at all?
You mean over there?
No. If I coming to you, like, do I just need? Yeah.
I'll throw somebody out to put you in. Don't worry about that.
No. Don't.
I would. No.
I know you won't, but I appreciate you saying it. Even the I'll call you a friend thing. I'm gonna make that on a T-shirt. James Yeager said he'll call me a friend. I'll just be like, hey, y'all posers, I didn't ask you this, and any predictions for SHOT Show?
There will not be any new 40 caliber pistols released.
Okay. Okay. You anything you hope to see at all?
Here's my thing. I already know a bunch of stuff that I can't.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
I really can't say it, but there won't be anything like earth shattering, but there'll be some cool stuff.
Yeah. I was planning on going, but I just there's this church that I'm working with that their project is going to ramp up earlier than I expected. So for good reason, I don't think I'm going to end up going. But if you see anything super cool, holler at me.
You should go.
I should go?
Yeah, you should go. If you need to crash, we got a suite. You can sleep on the couch.
Well, no, I'm good.
You should go.
I should go.
You could get a year's worth of content in 1 week.
Okay. Yeah, I hear you. I'll take that under advisement. Let me. I'll take that under advisement. If I can go, I will go. It's actually not very expensive. It's not very expensive at all, and there's a lot of opportunity to go. But I'm trying to make sure that I don't get things upside down from a schedule standpoint. But I appreciate your time very much, Mr. James Yeager. It's been fun. It's probably not been because of me. It's probably not been as cool as last time, but you were epic as always, sir. So I want to appreciate that. I want to say thank you for that, and I can't wait to come out and see what's next in this path. This last time I had to lose weight, and next time I'm probably gonna have to like run or something like so.
We're gonna put a squat bar on your back.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have a lot to learn about that.
Yep.
I have a lot to learn about that because I've worked out a lot in my life, but not the right way.
No, you've exercised.
Yeah. Okay.
Exercise is stuff that makes you sweat. Working out is stuff that makes you strong.
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. I think you just said I've never been strong in my life, but okay, I'll listen to that. Yeah.
You can be stronger.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Thank you for your time, and you have a great night. Thank you to the missus for allowing me to steal some of your time.
All right, dude. Take care.
I heard you call from across the hall, and a wedding picture on the bedroom wall. It's a crying shame you had to see me fall again. Hey, look at your face. I can't sleep 'cause I'm wide awake. I was sure those happy days would never end. Oh, Amelia, you broke my heart before, but I ain't had enough. Made me wait to know my fate, but these long nights feel so rough. When I'm praying for the sun to come up. Oh no, what do you know? Call me back when we've grown old. Keep the ring, but give me back my coat. Lord have mercy, gonna lose my soul. Change, I can't change. I wish to heaven I could change my ways. We got vices, but they ain't the same. But you take the dog and I'll take the blame. Oh, Amelia, you broke my heart before, but I ain't had enough. Made me wait to know my fate, but these long nights feel so rough. When I'm praying for the sun to come up. All these nights I'm sleeping without you. All these nights I'm dreaming about you. Yeah, all these nights are sleepless without you. 'Cause all these nights I'm thinking about you. Oh, Amelia, you broke my heart before, but I ain't had enough. Made me wait to know my fate, but these long nights feel so wrong. When I'm praying for the sun to come up, waiting